What's going on, guys? Bengal again here, coming back at you with another video, and today doing a mock draft after Sam Darnold was traded from the Jets to the Panthers. So no longer need to mock up the Panthers trading up for a quarterback. In fact, we're not going to do any trades in this particular mock draft, but I am going to be posting another mock draft later this week, or later next week, with Brett Coleman. So if you're interested in watching that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. What else is coming? People want the Sam Darnold rebuild. That's going to be coming in the next couple days as well. I spent an hour and a half just now recording my top receivers video in the draft. I have just so much to say about all of them. So it's not going to be an hour and a half long video. Hopefully it's much shorter than that, but it still might be like 30 to 40 minutes on the top like 15 to 25 receivers in the class. So it definitely was a large undertaking, but I'm happy with how it turned out. So that video is going to get edited and uploaded probably sometime within the next couple days. So again, make sure you subscribe for that. Scroll down, hit that subscribe button. We just hit 300K. That's so unbelievable. Your support means the world to me. We're doing a live on-the-fly mock draft. Haven't thought about it at all. I usually map out every mock draft before I record, but this one is going to be a little bit different. Just to have the gut reaction, which is going to be a little bit different than micro-analyzing every pick, because it's probably going to heavier or more heavily weight best player available over maybe a more important team need. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Be sure to tweet at me with any concerns. Twitter.com/Bengal. YouTube link, as always, is in the description. As we'll start off with the Jags, for sure taking Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that's even a question at this point. I also think the Jets are going to follow up with Zach Wilson. They need their quarterback of the future. For some reason, I just don't think Trey Lance is in play here for the Jets at all. I think it's either Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, but I think they're going to rock with Zach Wilson at number 2. And as much as I hate to do this at this point, as Mac Jones flies up to number 3 on the predictive board, Mac Jones is the heavy rumor right now to go to the 49ers, and I'm going to end up following that rumor. I think also the fact that the Falcons are apparently hearing a lot of interest about a potential trade down, it kind of shows that Mac Jones probably is what is heavily rumored to be the pick for a reason, because a team might move up to number 4 for a quarterback, and they have a really good shot to get probably the guy they like, whether it's Trey Lance or Justin Fields, if Mac Jones goes at number 3. So I'm following the rumors right now. I think it definitely could happen. Mac Jones to the 49ers at 3. I think it's the 5th best quarterback in the draft, going at number 3 overall. We've mocked quarterbacks going very, very highly for a long time now. People have called me an idiot for having 4 quarterbacks in a row for a while, but it's just kind of how the draft order has shaped out to be. Mac Jones at number 3, to me, seems a little ridiculous, considering I think he's the 5th best quarterback in the class. But it seems to be what is likely going to happen at this point. So Mac Jones and the Niners at 3. Falcons at number 4 in an interesting spot. We just might have to go best player available here, and that is going to be the versatile weapon. Merch link in the description if you guys want a versatile weapon hoodie, shirt, long sleeve, anything like that. Sleeveless. Kyle Pitts to the Falcons at number 4. Really good player, best player available for a team that can just get more dynamic on offense, and that's what Kyle Pitts can bring. A big jump ball receiver that is nuanced as a route runner as well. He can play in the slot, out wide, or in line at tight end. Probably not going to use him as an H-back, but I don't see any reason why he couldn't do it. As we get to the Bengals at number 5, it's probably going to be between Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. I'm not sure that Kyle Pitts would go to the Falcons at 4. I think that cornerbacks in play there, despite that not being heavily rumored. Penei Sewell maybe even. But Kyle Pitts is the pick. And then we have the Bengals at 5. I mean, it's Sewell or Chase. And I'm going to go Penei Sewell. It's such a strong receiver class. I think it's tempting to reunite Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow like they were at LSU in 2019. But their offensive line needs a lot of help. And Sewell can definitely be helpful. Riley Reef is not the answer. And even if you think he is, Sewell can play guard. Jonah Williams can play guard. I think Sewell is just maybe the best player available for a team that does need to invest in offensive line. As we get to the Dolphins at number 6, they're in an interesting spot. And I think let's not overcomplicate things. Let's go Jamar Chase at number 6 there. It was heavily rumored at number 3, and now the fact that they can move down and get Jamar Chase at 6, I feel like is a win-win for them. A big-time number 1 receiver, like maybe they thought they were getting with Devontae Parker. Jamar Chase is a better prospect and should be a better player than Devontae Parker ended up being. Lions at number 7. I really think quarterback should be in play at this spot. I really do. However, they seem like they are committed to Jared Goff. So I really can't in good faith mock a quarterback to them, although they should absolutely take a quarterback here. If any one of Trey Lance or Justin Fields is available at number 7, the Lions absolutely should take one. But if they're committed to Jared Goff, it kind of doesn't make sense to do so. I need to let my better judgment take over. But I think that's taking a quarterback. They can cut Jared Goff after 2022 and save a lot of money and play with a cheaper option with a higher ceiling and probably could be a better player right away. I mean, Jared Goff just had Sean McVay telling him the plays anyway, telling him what defense was out there. I don't know that Justin Fields or Trey Lance really would be much worse than Jared Goff right now. It should be a quarterback. We're going to say they're committed to Jared Goff, though, like they seem to be. We're going to go with a different player, and that is the best player who isn't a quarterback in Jalen Waddle. They need receiver help. I know they brought in Tyrell Williams. They brought in Brashad Perriman, who's not very good. They have Quintez Cephas. Are any of those sounding like receiver ones at this point? No. Jalen Waddle can be. Really, really good player. Just best player available for a team that's in rebuild mode. Huge weapon for Jared Goofball as we get to the Panthers at number 8. Just got Sam Darnold. They picked up his 5th-year option, of course, so he is under contract for 2021 and 2022. Although I still think they should take a quarterback here. They're not going to at this point. Kyle Pitts is off the board, which is, I'm sure, who they would love to take at number 8 if he were to fall there. But we can't go Kyle Pitts, so what do? We go with Rashawn Slater. Their offensive line is good. It's better, but it isn't great. They franchise tag Taylor Moton. There's no telling whether he's going to be back in Carolina next year. Rashawn Slater is a guy that can be a starting left tackle for them right away if they need him to be, but also a plug-and-play guard. And I know their interior offensive line, aside from Matt Paradis, isn't anything spectacular. As we get to the Broncos at number 9, this is a quarterback, and it's one of 2 guys. It's Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Has to be a QB here for the Broncos. I think the Patriots also are a team that could contend to trade up, but we are not doing trades in this mock draft. So we're going to go ahead and go with Justin Fields. For me, Trey Lance and Justin Fields are so close in this draft. I wouldn't mind them at 3 and 4, 4 and 3. But Justin Fields is the pick there to Denver. Super, super good player. Easy top 10 player in the class. I think the Broncos would just jump at the opportunity to take a player like him at that spot. As we get to the Cowboys at number 10, I think it's going to be a corner. And there are 3 really good ones available. Caleb Farley is probably going to drop to injury, so that kind of limits it to Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn. And we've done it a lot. We really have. But the fact that Patrick Surtain can reunite with Trayvon Diggs, and he's probably the best corner in the class, it just makes it too easy of a pick. So it's been Surtain for how many mock drafts now? A ton of them. I get it. It's a little bit boring. It's played out. But I think it's generally a really good possibility and genuinely what could certainly happen. As we get to the Giants at number 11, if I was picking for the Giants, I'd take Trey Lance in a heartbeat. I really would. I really would. But I'm not picking for the Giants. I have to think about what the Giants might do here. Jalen Waddle's off the board. I know they've been linked a little bit to Devontae Smith. I don't think they take Micah Parsons. I think J.C. Horn is in play. I think Elijah Vera-Tucker is certainly in play. I really wouldn't be mad about any of those. I think Horn's great. I think Devontae Smith is great. I think Elijah Vera-Tucker's great. What do we do here for the Giants at 11? I think even, you know what? Tevin Jenkins wouldn't be the worst thing at number 11 overall. Just immediately start at right tackle. That's actually not really that bad of a thing for the Giants. I'm not really considering Micah Parsons or Gregory Rousseau or even Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think we might opt to go guard here. I know the Giants picked up Zach Fulton recently, but the offensive line is still a bit of a disaster. And they signed Adoree Jackson. He's decent. James Bradbury's really good. I think we just go Devontae Smith, which is a little peculiar for me. I haven't done that, but it feels like it could be best player available for potential position of need for the Giants. A true separator to go alongside Kenny Golladay, who's a big jump ball guy. Could be a really good fit for the offense. The Eagles at number 12, of course, traded back from number 6. And what do? I think with J.C. Horn on the board, I think they'd be jumping for joy. That's just a really, really good spot. This should be Trey Lance, but they seem committed to Jalen Hurts. And in a world with no trades, Trey Lance is falling down the board. That's like really shocking me. I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, in a world without trades, it's going to. But with the Eagles, number 12, they have nothing at corner, man. We're going to go J.C. Horn. Tested incredibly well. Great press man corner. J.C. Horn's very, very good. I think the Chargers would be very upset about him not being available. And then to follow up, we're going to Elijah Vera-Tucker here to the Chargers at 13. Could play him right away at left tackle. Could play him at guard. Stick him in the same area, you know, USC to the LA Chargers. He's a really good player. It's tough to find holes in his game. He's got a super high floor, and he's a good athlete. Elijah Vera-Tucker's a really good player. And I think the Vikings would be super disappointed with him not being available at number 14. But what it does do, and even though they might be committed to Kirk Cousins, I am going Trey Lance in this scenario. I know that seems so weird. People are going to hate this mock draft because in a world without trades, a lot of crazy stuff is happening. But tell me why the Vikings wouldn't consider taking a developmental quarterback to play behind Kirk Cousins if they don't think they're an immediate contender, which they might not be. Kirk Cousins is extremely expensive. Why not get a cheaper option for the future who isn't pressed to play right away? That's kind of a dream scenario for the Vikings, in my opinion, despite having maybe more immediate needs on the offensive and defensive line, maybe even at cornerback as well, especially with what happened to Jeff Gladney, dude. What an idiot. But Trey Lance is my pick there. It's just best player available for the Vikings, as again, the Patriots, I'm sure, are going to be super, super disappointed with this. What do you do if you're the Patriots? The best players just went off the board. What do you do? They're in a really, really interesting spot. Now, wide receiver isn't a super big position of need for them, but Kadarius Toney is someone that stands out to me at number 15. I think Micah Parsons is a decent fit. Dante Hightower is not going to be around forever. You might see him as your Dante Hightower replacement. They brought Kyle Van Noy back. Their offensive line's good. Might even consider a corner here because Stephon Gilmore is getting a bit older. There's rumors about trading him. They might trade up for a quarterback and use Stephon Gilmore, although I highly doubt that. J.C. Jackson might not be on the team longer than next year. The Patriots are in a really unique position to probably just go best player available. What do you do here if you're the Patriots? I kind of want to give them Kadarius Toney. Toney is just an unbelievable player. He's extremely versatile, and I think the Patriots would be able to use him in some pretty incredible ways. They've heavily relied on slot receivers in the past, and Kadarius Toney could very easily be the best slot receiver in this draft class. Really, really good player, and I think the Patriots would find ways to use him to make their offense even more dynamic. They're probably going to run 12 personnel a lot. They're going to have 2 tight ends on the field consistently, with Jonnu Smith playing maybe more of an H-back role sometimes, and Hunter Henry in line. But I think both are going to be in line quite a bit in that 12 personnel. Kadarius Toney as a slot guy, though, upgrade over Julian Edelman at this point. So Kadarius Toney is a huge get for the Patriots at 15, in my opinion. As we get to the Cardinals at 16, has to be a corner. I'm not going any position but corner. And the injury for Caleb Farley does hurt his draft stock quite a bit, but I think he's too good of a player to pass on at 16. I think the Cardinals gamble on him and say, hey, we're kind of ready to win now. We're going to bank on Farley being healthy, and we're going to get a really, really good player that should not be available at number 16. We get to the Raiders at 17. It's got to be offensive tackle, in my opinion. Tevin Jenkins really good. Christian Darrisaw is quite good as well. I'm going to go Tevin Jenkins to fill in at right tackle. Gotta love what Colton Miller has done the past couple of years. Tevin Jenkins is a really good player, can immediately slide in at right tackle and be a starter for them. Trent Brown didn't work out. Their offensive line is now in tatters, just destroyed after they got rid of Rodney Hudson and Gabe Jackson and Trent Brown. They got to go offensive line. Tevin Jenkins probably in contention for the best one available. And then at 18, I'm gonna go Micah Parsons. I think this is where his fall stops. It's just a good fit for the Dolphins. This is their Kyle Van Noy replacement. And Micah Parsons is dropping because of off-the-field concerns. He's probably a player that could go earlier than this. Got great athletic traits. He's raw in coverage, and he's not that great off the edge. He is good off the edge for a linebacker, but he's not an edge rusher. He might be a jack-of-all-trades, master of none at this point, but he's a great athlete. I think he's going to be able to make something work. Immediate strong-side linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. I like the fit. Can be a better Raekwon McMillan, and I know Raekwon McMillan was not that good of a player for the Miami Dolphins. As we get to the Washington football team at 19, seems like they're fairly committed to what they have going on in the offensive line. I've mocked offense to them forever, but they went out in free agency and got some big-time offensive weapons. We're going to go JOK. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is exactly what they need. Maybe they need a safety. Landon Collins isn't great. Maybe they need a linebacker. Linebacking core is not great. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is the best hybrid linebacker safety that there is in this draft. He's great in zone coverage. He might be the best overall linebacker in the draft, and he fits the Washington football team defense to a T. This is a big upgrade for them. As we get to the Bears at 20, they were really hoping Trey Lance was going to fall to them at 20, I'm sure. No quarterbacks worth taking at this spot. We just got to upgrade their poor offensive line. We're going Christian Darrisaw, which I feel like was the pick there for a while in like December and January when we were doing some of these mock drafts, but it just seems to fit. We get to the Colts at 21. Jalen Phillips is too good of a player to still be available, but the red flags with the medical stuff is just too much to ignore. So Jalen Phillips is probably going to fall a little bit farther down my board. And then we have the Colts at 21 still. I think it's got to be offensive line. I'm liking Sam Cosmi at this spot. Cosmi's just a great athlete and just wasn't really ever beat at Texas. He was a really solid left tackle for the Longhorns for his entire collegiate career. As you get to the Titans at 22, I'm thinking about cornerback at this spot. I think this could be back-to-back corners. I think Jalen Phillips is in play. I think Azeez Ojulari is maybe in play here. Edge is still a need despite signing Bud Dupree. Harold Landry is going to be a free agent after next season. Wide receiver is a need for them. I think I am going to go Rashad Bateman. I think corner is a huge need, but also losing Corey Davis is huge. I think getting Rashad Bateman, who can be a pretty good replacement, kind of a comparable player to Corey Davis, it's an easy just replacement there. So I think the Titans would definitely jump at that opportunity. Cornerback is heavily in play, don't get me wrong. And we're going to go cornerback for the Jets. Who do we like more for them? I think we're going to go Eric Stokes here. Two really good players. I think both these guys could easily go top 20 or maybe one or the other, depending on what the top of the board looks like and depending on how far Caleb Farley drops to injury or with injury concerns and depending on what happens with trades. Eric Stokes is a really good player. He goes to the Jets at 23. Steelers at 24. Everyone wants running back here for the Steelers. I'm not going to do it. I think they could trade up for running back if they want one. You have more pressing needs than taking Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, or Javonte Williams. Michael Carter in the second round is better value than Najee, Travis Etienne, or Javonte Williams in the first. I'm telling you it is. You need offensive line, you need center, and you need tackle. We're going to go center, though. Landon Dickerson's available. He's a really good player, as is Creed Humphrey. But, I mean, losing Maurkice Pouncey is so huge for Pittsburgh. They need a replacement. It's a boring pick. I understand that. You don't want to see your team go offensive line if you're a casual fan, but they need help on the offensive line badly. Jaguars at 25. I feel like I've done the same thing every time here as well, but I think this is the perfect landing spot for Christian Barmore, who is arguably the best defensive tackle in this class for a team that could really use an interior presence there. I know they signed Roy Robertson-Harris. He's more of a rotational pass rusher on the inside. And with Devon Hamilton's a nose tackle. Barmore is the every down defensive tackle that can get pressure. It's just a good fit here, in my opinion. Back-to-back Alabama linemen on each side of the ball. And then the Browns at 26. I've given them Jalen Phillips a fair few times, but he fits the defense really well. He's the perfect edge complement on the other side of Myles Garrett. It's just a match made in heaven, in my opinion. Ravens at 27. Could go edge here. 3-4 outside linebacker is certainly tempting. I think I will. I think we're going to consider safety as well, but I'm going to go Jason Oweh here. I think he's a good fit for the team. He's a great athlete. Did tape study on him. Interesting player. I know 0 sacks in 2020. I'm not super concerned. He is a good pass rusher. The pressures are there, even though the sacks are not. I don't think he is, a top 20 player in the draft. Maybe not even a top 30 player in the draft, but he's a good player with really good size and athleticism. If you can coach up those hands, you've got a stud player. And the Ravens have been able to do that. So this is a good player for them. Doesn't maybe fit their drafting mold as much. Usually they take a flyer on an edge rusher with high production like the third round. But always a good player. As you get to the Saints at 28. What do we do if we're the Saints here? I'm honestly tempted to go quarterback because I think a team could reach down the board and take a QB here at the back end of the first if they think one has a good chance to be great. I know they have Jameis Winston. Like, I think Kellen Mond here could be a really, really interesting pick. I'm not going to do it. I think he's a little bit too raw right now, but I'm considering it. Instead, we're going to go probably best player available at a position of need. Kwity Paye is available. I mean, that's your Trey Hendrickson replacement right away. 3 edge rushers in a row. Kwity Paye is really good. 28 feels too late for him, but some of these spots feel too late for like all these guys. It's a really strong class. Packers at 29. It's got to be corner or wide receiver, in my opinion. Greg Newsome is available. It's Greg Newsome all day. That's not really even a concern for me. Kelvin Joseph, I've mocked to the Packers before. He fits the system really well, but Greg Newsome is a better player. As we get to the Bills at 30, I would consider an edge rusher here, not really considering receiver. I like Joseph Ossai here. Who's a better fit? Yeah, I almost want, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to go Boogie Basham. Carlos Basham to the Bills at 30. Fits their defense better than a lot of the guys ahead of him. I think Ronnie Perkins is also in play. But Carlos Basham is a pretty good player, really good fit for the defense, especially when you talk about a guy that can line up and set the edge and then get that interior pressure as well. Gotta love Carlos Basham. Chiefs got to go offensive line. I'm not even considering anything else. Let's go Brady Christensen out of BYU. He's a good player right now. He's older. He's going to be 25. But he's a super freak athlete. And for the Chiefs that are super ready to win now, I don't think you mind taking a little bit of an older player. And Brady Christensen's really good, great athlete. As we get to the Bucs at 32, I haven't gone with a running back yet. It's been a little bit of a weird mock draft, but I think running backs could fall. This is tough, man. I think Trayvon Merrick goes earlier. I think a lot of the players that are still left on the board go earlier, which is mathematically impossible. I'm going to go with Elijah Moore. Attempted to go a bunch of different ways there. I really was. I was considering linebacker, Jamin or Jamin Davis was available. But Elijah Moore is the perfect slot receiver that Tom Brady could turn into a Hall of Famer, out of the first couple years of his career. I think that's how good Elijah Moore could look for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Might not bring back Antonio Brown. Is Scotty Miller really the big-time receiver you want? No. Elijah Moore is better. You can use him in a bunch of different ways. Maybe you need a running back in Tampa. Elijah Moore can do that too. Really, really good player. And this was the most interesting mock draft I've done. It's not chalk, so people are going to hate it, but no trades, how it went. People love chalk. This is not that. So give it a thumbs up for uniqueness. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Insane, I hit it at the park, bend bones. See me high step to the end zone. My life like a game, Nintendo. Playing with the best, let them know. Get off the track, the train's coming through. Yeah, promise you get in my way, then you best believe I'ma just run over you. Yeah, pump a turn, taking it back to the house. Defense a joke, I'm laughing so loud. Speedbird's good.